Here we see Bikini Bottom, teeming with life, home of one of my favorite creatures, SpongeBob SquarePants. Yes, of course he lives in a pineapple, you silly.
Hey there, YouTube friends. Today we are getting started on our Bikini Bottom and SpongeBob SquarePants inspired water park. And that starts with our entrance, Bikini Bottom. I'm maskedbandit. I am so glad you are here. I appreciate you. Let's get tackling this crazy entrance area. Alright, well, before tackling the actual park, I wanted to go ahead as it begins to rain and figure out how feasible this style was going to be. I needed to be able to build off the grid, and I needed to be able to, well, make some really funnily shaped buildings, and it all started with this one. This is the first structure. It's going to be a ticket building, and this is inspired by a Bikini Bottom buildings that I found on the internet right here. And I think this is a pretty good approximation of it. Building these weird angles, everything is really difficult. So I think I got pretty close. I'm happy with it. And I added some, you can see these little air tanks here, I think is what they are, or torpedoes. I'm not sure what they are. But they created the rivets. They're actually a little too big, so I do go ahead and I think I make them a little bit smaller. We changed the colors a little bit, but this was my proof of concept. Could we make Bikini Bottom buildings? And I think we can. I think all considered in scale, it's pretty good. We've got our little statue right here to help us with scale. That's how we got this ticket window looking just fine. And boy, oh boy, if I haven't fallen in love with scaling 100% in this build. Just wait till you see what happens. So after my initial test was complete, I had to go ahead and build some other buildings. This brown one here actually turned out incredibly well. This is all just, let me show you what pieces these are. These are all just aquatic metal walls, but the ungridded ones. The 4 and the 2, and that's how we were able to get them, and they are all different scales. That's how we were able to get these looking so good. And just, I love the lean on this. It turned out really, really well. And then we've got the the Caterwampus windows, and basically the same ticket booth, just a little bit askew. But I love it. These little flowers are reminiscent of what you see in the sky in a SpongeBob episode. The big flower outlines and bright greens and pinks and yellows. We're going to be incorporating that quite a bit. And then found just, I wanted to use the steel. Like a lot of it has a very blue look, a lot of the Bikini Bottom buildings. They're all supposed to be like mufflers and flotsam and jetsam. Apparently that was the whole thing that the creator did to, you know, a subtle dig at ocean pollution, so the internet says. But yeah, you can see this one's a much more subdued, but the same lean, just in a different direction. And then we've got this one that looks like a barrel. And all of these were found, all inspired by real pictures of Bikini Bottom that I was able to find online. And then we started working with a little bit of coral and the purple rocks, things that are really going to make this feel Bikini Bottom-esque. And these coral pieces are lovely. They're all recolorable. The rocks are recolorable. And then just did some bit more decoration. And again, it was at this point when it was like, all right, I think that we can really roll with this. The textures are bright and saturated, and actually the whole super saturation of Planet Coaster 2 is lending itself really, really well to this cartoony vibe. So I'm really hopeful that that's going to really push us to get some really special things in this project. So then, once the proof of concept was completed, it was time to start building the actual park, and that's where we are right now. I decided to base this in reality. It would have been really easy to do a fantasy style, but my vibe, I love realism, and so I really wanted to try and base this park in realism as much as we can. I mean, it's going to be high budget. This would be like if Universal kind of made a SpongeBob theme park. I know for a time they had the rights to SpongeBob. I don't know if they still do. I'm so confused with all the different streaming services and stuff. But nonetheless, here, this is just art shapes. These are all just art shapes and the planters. And I made really good use of the new Snap to Grid feature on the scenery pieces. If we come in here and kind of blow this up and we go to advanced move, the snap distance, I think I had it on 164. And I knew how many over I needed to scooch it. And I could just do that and copy pasta it and send it on over. And that made building this parking lot really simple and really straightforward. And actually, big shout to Beyond Drew. Beyond Drew has been killing it on the Planet Coaster 2 content. You need to go watch him if you haven't. He's building a super generic water park inspired by all those ones in the Midwest, the ones that I'm familiar with that I was going to as a kid. But I saw him build a parking lot and I was like, I should probably do the same thing. So we did that, and it's a great idea then to drop these bus spawn points down. This is going to be our bus lane, and I put in a little zebra crossing here, a little crosswalk for the guests, and that brought me here to this area. And this is the buildings we built, and we're starting our entrance area. This is actually the second time I've built this. The first time it got away from me scale-wise, and it got really, really big. So I wanted to throw down a bunch of these stone characters. You can see one of them is floating, and we got to work building these rock walls. I started with the 3 central pillars and built my arch, and then I slowly tapered down with little bits here and there to kind of make it feel like a insulated area. I wanted to really feel like you are in Bikini Bottom here. Obviously, there's a lot more work to do, but I did make sure that I had one square building and one round building on each side, and also one with the metal awning and one with the cloth awning here. I wanted to make sure there was some symmetry there, even though each building is unique. And by keeping them close together and smushing them here up against the rocks, I really created this vibe that it feels bigger than it is, which is kind of nice. It's kind of what I'm going for. So yeah, at this point now, we've got to start dressing this up and making it look as bright and as silly as the show that it's referencing, Bikini Bottom and SpongeBob. Quite a bit to talk about here in this update. We'll start with this central pool. I actually built this Bikini Bottom sign. I built that off on my own. It is its own little blueprint that I created, and I wanted to share with you how I did this awesome text here. So if I go into the building, you will see if I remove the little letter, or the ring, each of these is its own unique sign. These texts that don't have a sign attached to them are just phenomenal. And I was able to, you can make them any, and by making each letter its own sign, you can go ahead and you can, you can go ahead and you can actually make it different sizes. You can scale each one. You can change each one's font. I think I have 2 or 3 fonts in here. And then it was just a matter of spacing them accurately on the raft. And I actually did try to get as close as I could to the real thing in the show. Like the K is super large. One of the T's is bigger than the other. The I's, I actually looked the I's. The 2 on the end are bigger than the one in the middle. And tried to make sure that everything looked as spot on as it could be. I really wish we could get rid of this white piece here, but we couldn't. And then I found a bamboo pole and I scaled it way up, and that is how we got this going. And then I went another notch and I found a picture of the scene from Bikini, like every time you look at Bikini Bottom, and I tried my best to replicate what you saw. So I picked the correct coral and I put it in roughly the correct space. I'm going to put a picture on the screen right now of what it looks like. And that is, you can see I've got the anemones over here and the red coral with this green seaweed looking stuff, and then we've got the deep red and the kind of greenish yellow coral. I think it's really funny. I was trying to see if there was an angle where like it looked like it, but I don't really think so. I don't think it really worked, but it's okay. The vibe is there, and that's what's so important. And then up here at the Bikini, at our entrance, our proper entrance archway, we decked it out with all the coral we could muster to really brighten it up and lively it up. We added some of those flowers to make it really feel like SpongeBob and not just random coral reef. And now with all of this combined, I think it's pretty clear what direction we're headed in. And I am just so pleased with it. The thing that's been a struggle has been these paths, though. I'm still figuring out this path unit, and we're not done yet. I had it huge, way spread out, way too small, not too pleased with it. But I am real pleased with how it interacts with water and with terrain, which is really nice, something much better than in Planet Coaster 1. If I were to go into the terrain tool, I can remove the water, and what we can actually do is we can carve and build right under the paths, something we could not do. Terrain was affixed to the paths. Like if I really wanted to, I could dig down super deep. And normally in Planet Coaster, you wouldn't be able. The terrain would get stuck. But now, look at this. You can dig under the paths. Isn't that fantastic? And look, it gets rid of the terrain, something that we've never been able to do. And that allows you, and I'm assuming that is why it is so easy then to get the water right up where you want it. In fact, if you wanted to go crazy, you could flood the whole map. Isn't that wild? Like, look at that. Didn't know that was a possibility, but it is. We're not going to do that. That would be a little silly. But we're going to go ahead. There we go. We just got to find a place. It's a lot more forgiving, I'll say. I'm not sure what the correct terminology is as far as how it's working or why it works, but it is a lot more forgiving. And that allows us to have these awesome pools here, but it's looking a little stale. It's looking a little bland and boring. So we're going to dress it all up. We're going to have one more update to show you how we got to where we got. And yeah, I hope you're excited. So I figured we would go ahead and go into first person mode for this so you could get a good look at what it looks like as a guest. So if we step off our coach bus here, we step off our bus and we enter the area. I've put out some spheres. I like to do this as bollards, something the grocery store at my house has. And they have people come in and paint them. I really like it. We've extended the purple rocks now into this area to really make it feel like you're entering the Bikini Bottom. And I just think it turned out so nice. Love these lamps. It fits our vibe perfectly. There's so many good pieces. I'm really having a fun time using both the resort and the aquatic. I was watching Jonty today, Geekism, his channel Geekism, and he was talking about how well, at least in what he was building, that aquatic and resort theme fit together, and I do think so. But I've also got some barrels here that are pretty rustic looking with some flowers in them, and I think that looks nice too. So see, you can absolutely mix and match, but hopefully you can hear the music really good coming over. I found one track that sounds like it would be from SpongeBob, so that's what our entrance area is going to be playing, and we'll find some other ones. I'm very pleased to hear that Frontier has confirmed that custom audio will eventually make its way into Planet Coaster 2. We were a little concerned about that, so it was good to hear that that is happening. And apparently dual loading station, or exit and entrance exclusive stations are going to be coming too. They announced today, so that's exciting. But yeah, we've got some movement now in the water with some splash effects, just enough, and we've got bubbles because SpongeBob loves blowing bubbles. Got some speakers hidden in the rocks here. Got some lovely planting. And if I wanted to come back here, oh, it's not going to let me? What? The path goes through. Why won't it let me? Wild. Oh, there we go. I don't know why I got stuck. I got stuck for some reason. I wonder if it's the barrel. But I got stuck here. But you could see if we needed to wait in line for our tickets, we absolutely could. Look at that. This first-person view is pretty good. And then, yeah, we've changed the ground cover to look kind of sandy. I think I stole this from Jonty as well. Really good idea. I can't wait until tomorrow when the game is released and everyone can just go nuts with their creativity, and I can learn so much. One of my favorite things about this game is just learning from other creators, so I'm super excited for that. Hopefully you've really enjoyed the content here the last several days before release, and I do hope you decide to stick around once the game comes out, because this is going to just keep going. I've got an entire Word document built up for this project. I am very pumped. SpongeBob I have loved for as long as I can remember. I mean, I was in middle school in the late 90s. That's how old I am, and I loved SpongeBob. I remember in high school I had enough SpongeBob shirts as there are days of the week at least. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I currently have several SpongeBob shirts. But anyway, yeah, this is is what we got. It's going to be lots of bright colors, super vibrant, super silly, super tongue-in-cheek. I've got all kinds of nods and Easter eggs coming your way. We're of course going to have the we're going to have the Krusty Krab and the Chum Bucket, and just if you've got something that you think would be good for a water park, a reference, an Easter egg, drop it down in the comments and let me know. And if you are excited for this project, do hit the like button and consider subscribing. We have had several people subscribe to the channel the last few days, and it has just been incredible. So if you are one of those new subscribers, hi, thanks for checking me out again. And if you're just finding me and aren't sure, why don't you go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss any of these Bikini Bottom SpongeBob Water Park episodes. Just come on, it's vibes, isn't it? And with that being said, I think we're going to leave it here for today. I am so grateful that you chose to spend time with me today. I appreciate it as always, and I am so looking forward to getting this going in the next episode. We're going to have one of the most iconic images of the show in the next episode, so I'm very excited to show you that. With all that being said, have yourself a great day, great night, great whatever, and I will see all of you for the next episode of the Bikini Bottom Water Park. Take care, everyone, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.